so many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Twig a call. Now they're bringing on their friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello and welcome to Twig's Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host Dreyfrick, and here's our cinematically clueless crow, Corvus Twig.
Welcome everybody! It's season 2 of Twig's Missing Movie. What?
I said welcome.
Oh, I thought you said fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. Fuck
Fuck off.
Season 2.
Welcome to season 2. Now fuck off. We don't want you here.
Season 2 starts off with a strong right wing and fuck you, fuck off.
Yeah. We're getting this going, and just had our anniversary special. It was fun.
We revealed the new tier list system.
Oh, we love the new tier list. We love it. Yeah, we're gonna have a real fun season. We got some great movies that we don't know what we're doing yet, but they'll be lined up and they're gonna be great. You know, we're gonna have some great guests such as Bentai and Krotar. They're definitely coming back on.
Bentai, Krotar,
Bond,
Crockerback.
Yeah. You know, we got the usual friends, but we got some new friends. And hey, are you a VTuber? Do you like talking movies? Why don't you give us a little shout out? Are you a celebrity? Then yes, we definitely want you on. We would like.
Don't say no.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like Patton Oswalt and you're just watching YouTube videos and this comes up and you watch it and you're like, well, I went on the Red Letter Media guys things, and even though these guys have 0.1% of the viewers, I'll come on this one.
I mean, we have shot longer shots before, you know.
Paul Scheer, I'm
gonna
gonna get you on the show, Paul Scheer. I'm gonna make it happen.
I believe in you.
Yeah,
I believe in your ability. Man, we have some exciting movies lined up, though. I will say
we do. We are going to be.
Not to give too much away, but a lot of these first few movies of this next season are. Hey, Twig, why didn't you see the other ones? That's what I'm lovingly referring to this arc of movie watches.
Well, we've done Twilight, Pirates of the Caribbean, and now
we're doing The Hunger Games: Catching Fire.
No, we're watching part 2. It's Mockingjay.
I thought we were doing number 2.
We are doing number 2. Number 2 is Mockingjay.
No.
Yes, I'm looking at the poster right now. Hunger Games Part 2.
No.
The Hunger Games. Wait, Mockingjay Part. Son of a bitch.
They got him. This is gonna be our legacy. Every year we just fuck up one movie really bad. You know, Footloose and Dirty Dancing. Everyone knows those two movies are the same. No, trust me, it's Catching Fire.
Hey, well, I'm glad you did this instead of me watching the second part of the
wrong movie.
Of the wrong movie, yeah.
You would have been like, how the fuck did we get here? Because you've seen the first one.
Yeah. But
you've seen the first one.
Yes, I've seen the first one. I also don't know what you're talking about. Look, the movie poster. God damn it, it's a different size. It's totally fine. Totally fine. See? So we're good.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the facts of this.
But yes,
okay?
it's another one of the series where I watched the first one and never got to the sequels. And I'm looking forward to watching the sequels of The Hunger Games and Pirates of the Caribbean and not Twilight. But I have a feeling we're gonna end up doing them anyway.
It's the loving series of Twig. Why didn't you watch the next one?
Oh, you know what? There's actually another movie that I had seen the first one and not the sequels. And that is How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep.
So,
it's a common theme on this show. It's a very common theme on this show. I mean, let's.
But then there's Paddington, where I've seen 2 and 3, but not number 1.
You should fix that.
Yeah, I should.
On the show.
We love Paddington.
Okay, released on November 11th, 2013, as the sequel to the first movie, The Hunger Games.
It says November 22nd on the movie poster.
Odeon Leicester Square. November 22nd in the United States. Where the fuck is Leicester Square?
I don't know.
Is that in London?
Probably LA.
Is that in England? It's either England or LA, right?
Yeah, it
One of
does
the two.
sound very English.
It has a runtime of 146
Million
146
minutes. It's
million
really
minutes.
long.
Holy shit. 146 minutes. It had a budget of 140 million dollars. Had a box office of 865 million dollars, almost 8 times its budget in backness.
Wow.
It follows the movie's plot from this where the first one left off. It's a young adult film which was kind of the catalyst to a bunch of other books of similar merit at the time, but I could not tell you which one actually came out in what order. But there was a very common theme at the time of young adult films, all kind of following this this formula of sorts. Great soundtrack, which had Ed Sheeran on it. Alexandra Patsavas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not. Coldplay. It's just Imagine Dragons, I think, was in there, and Lord, I think, were also amongst there.
That seems like odd choices. I was expecting this movie to not have pop music in it. I was expecting, like, just a score.
I mean, there is a score made by James Newton Howard.
I mean, obviously there's a score. There's almost always a score.
There's always a motif throughout these movies.
But
it was really well received as a sequel, which is kind of rare for sequels. In the cinema universe, there's something called the sequel curse, right? Where the second movie in any film is usually regarded as the worst one in the trio, if there's a trio or if there's more. Obviously, there are lots of exceptions to this rule. Shrek 2, Pirates of the Caribbean 2,
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
the biggest example when you're saying that, what's it? One people thought the second wasn't good. I guess Indiana Jones kind of pops out as a example.
Yeah, that's a core reference.
I do think Back to the Future 2 is the weakest of them, although some people don't like the third.
I don't like the third.
I like the whole trilogy, as watching it all as one.
Yeah, I like watching the whole trilogy, but I can't say that I really like.
One is the only one that really works as a standalone film.
Yeah, one standalone film. 2 and 3 require you to have seen the previous ones, and that's, I think, where it loses me a little bit, because the charm and the whimsy of the first one is so self-contained.
But I wonder if Hunger Games: Catching Fire is one where you don't need the context of having seen the first one. But I saw the first one in theaters, so it's actually been quite a long time. But I think I remember the plot pretty vividly. They have the world separated into, I believe, 12 districts, and then there's a couple rich districts, and then there's all the poor people. And each district gets an allocation of resources, but once a year they send 2 children, essentially, to go fight in the Hunger Games, and whichever district wins, and it's a battle royale. It's basically battle royale. Whichever one survives, their district gets a bunch of extra food for the next year, hence why they're called the Hunger Games. And Katniss's little sister gets picked. And then she's like, no, I can't let my little sister go because she's going to die. So in order to save her little sister's life, she volunteers. But turns out she's been hunting in the woods all these times and is actually a pretty badass archer. And then she has to, impress the sponsors. And she does a little bit by shooting an arrow up into where they were sitting and, hitting a apple or something. It's kind of neat. And then they do the Hunger Games. She befriends a couple of the other people, a young girl from another thing, but then she dies, and she kills a few herself, but for the most part it's just her trying to avoid and stay safe. And then there's hazards that kill a bunch of them, and then eventually gets down to her and the other boy from her district, and she knows there's these poison berries. And she's like, they want to crown one of us the winner. We don't want to kill each other. We care about each other. So how about we each kill each other, by eating these berries, and then they'll have no winner and their games are forfeit. And then right before they're going to kill themselves, they're like, just kidding. Since you're both from the same district, you can both win. And then it's like they get the big parade, but obviously the societal structures are still in place. And though they may have done something good for their district this one time and she may have survived, the structural inequalities of their society are still there and need to get fucking torn down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. There's a lot of other commentary that happens and stuff like that. But
obviously, yeah.
But I mean, I don't expect you to have be able to spit that out after 13 years. You know.
Yeah.
I do want to point out two things about this book series. Three things. One, it's based off of a manga called Battle Royale of similar storyline, basically. It's a famous manga. Definitely worth reading. It's a little fucked up, so just head warning there.
It's also a movie.
Two.
Yeah,
this movie held the biggest box office reception in the month of November for 9 years, only being topped by Black Panther: Wakanda Forever in 2022. November and December are 2 huge months for cinemas.
And this held a November record for just highest box office. That's pretty.
Yep,
that's pretty
November
good.
is when a lot of holiday movies will be released.
Oh yeah, you get that
before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And then go for until January. So think about how many movies you've seen during Christmas time, right? Those started in November as a debut, because the ones that Hollywood's not confident with do not get released in December. They get released in November, so that way they can have a better box office look. And for 9 years, this movie held it.
So this movie's got to be up there in terms of top box office of all time.
I don't know about that, but I would make an argument. I'd probably believe it if you told me that. I didn't really look at that number. The third thing, if you like battle royales, this book series is what inspired them. And I'm gonna get a lot of comments on this, but it's the truth. H1Z1, PUBG, both were inspired by this movie, book series, and the original manga. And the book series is what popularized battle royales as a genre in the Western culture. So if you don't like Fortnite, blame this book series.
Got it. Also, this is the 88th best top grossing film of all time.
What's number one? Sorry, just see that top one.
Number one is Avatar with 2.9 billion.
That makes sense. They kept re-releasing that movie. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, if you re-release that movie multiple times in other countries, it doesn't count.
Yeah. 88 is pretty good. It's considering how many movies.
Pretty solid. It's top 100. It's top 100 of all time.
It just barely edged out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I remember when 2 came out. Okay.
Anyway.
Quick point of reference for scoring. It sits pretty with 292, I think, reviews or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes, with a near 70% approval rating or something stupid like that. Where did it go? Where did my notes go?
Yeah, 70% is pretty good.
90%. Sorry, 90%.
90% is even better.
And it has a 7.6 out of 10 overall rating average across multiple sites.
Okay.
It's pretty solid. It won for Best Song, Hollywood Film Awards for Best Song, People's Choice Award for Favorite Year-End Movie, Kids' Choice Award for Favorite Movie Actress, which was Jennifer Lawrence, Empire Award for Best Thriller, MTV Movie Awards for Best Male Performance, Josh Hutcherson, Best for Movie of the Year, and Best Female Performance, again, Jennifer Lawrence. Best Action Trailer and Best Original Score from Golden Trailer Awards, Saturn Awards, Best Costume, Teen Choice Awards, Choice Movie, Sci-Fi Fantasy, Sci-Fi Movie Actress, and Villain. Quite a few awards.
Yeah.
But no, like...
Well, I mean, it was a very popular movie, based on a very popular franchise, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Well, with that out of the way, Twig, why haven't you seen this movie?
It's a really good question. Saw the first one in theaters, really liked it, wanted to see more, and then I think when this came out, none of my friends wanted to see it. And it was a little bit before, like, I had streaming. So, like, if I had seen the first one, like, if the first one came out, like, 2 years ago, and this one had come out now, I definitely would have seen it, especially, like, as soon as it hit streaming or something like that. But, it came out just before I really had all the streaming stuff, and didn't, like, I liked the first one, but not enough to go just buy the second one on DVD, so... and then, yeah, like I said, none of my friends were really interested in it, so it just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, a shame too.
Yeah, like I said, to come out 5 years later, I definitely would have seen it on streaming.
I believe it. I really do. So what do you know about the movie then? Obviously, you know a little bit from the first movie. You know the premise of the world that it's in. What do you know about the second one?
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like I have some, I think, educated guesses, but I actually have no idea what the plot of this one is. Because there's 4 books, right? Or is it 3 books, 4 movies, or is it 4 books?
It's okay. So there's technically 4 books now because I think there's a 4th one that was released recently, but there are 3 books original.
Okay, so it was a trilogy, and they split part 3 into 2 movies.
Into 2 movies, yeah. That was during that period where everyone was doing that annoying thing where they're like, we can make so much more money by splitting it apart. So
it feels like one is like setting up the world and doing the Hunger Games themselves. 2 feels like kind of then it would be like the setup that the heroes face a... part 2 always usually ends on a dark note. And the heroes have a long way to climb back. So it feels like Mockingjay part 1 and 2 would be the actual story of them toppling the government and taking down the evil empire. So this is kind of like the second act of a 3-story structure. But I don't actually have any clue what happens. I don't know, which is weird. Like, I don't think I didn't watch the trailer because it's like,
watch the trailer.
Yeah, I sometimes watch the trailer for the show if I've known.
Right?
What's that?
Anything you would have seen or heard, you would have already forgotten about because it's been so long.
Yeah, so, yeah, really, I have no idea what happens in this movie. But I have some guesses, and I'm going to go with those guesses, and if my first guess is wrong, the rest of my guesses are going to really take a dive, because...
It's going to nosedive real hard, real fast.
Yeah. Speaking guesses...
Why don't we...
Yeah, why don't we make
let's get guessing. Let's get to predicting.
Okay, so here's my prediction. God damn it. Hey, don't get rid of my bullets. Don't you get rid of my bullets. All right. There is going to be another Hunger Games competition, and Katniss will have to enter. But the question is why? It's like, I don't know if they can have winners enter again. So it's just like, okay, well, because I just feel like that's my big guess, is that they're going to do another Hunger Games competition. We're going to have ourselves another Battle Royale. That's my guess. So it's like, I wonder if she's going to end up volunteering to go in again, or it feels like, does she want to enter again, or do the people who run the Hunger Games want her in it as a way to get rid of her? Because I have a feeling she's the kind of person that, like, she's been using her influence to, like, talk down to the man and the inequalities and speak out against the Hunger Games, even though she won it, and they don't like that, so they want to get rid of her. But they have to kind of find a reason to get rid of her, and so making her enter again would be the best way to do it. But then who does she go against? So, This is tough. It
is tough, isn't it? There's a lot of potential plot.
I kind of like that last idea that they're trying to get rid of her, so they make her do it again. So she's forced into the Hunger Games again. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go with that last idea they had. I think it's going to be like a competition of past winners.
Okay.
So she's got to go up against all the other people who won in years past. Which some of them would be starting to get a little bit older, but, you know, I don't think they care. They're all expendable fodder. So this time she doesn't have a love interest who's, you know, in the games with her. Piotr, I think his name was. I remember that it's Katniss, and I think Piotr was the love interest. Oh, but you know what? I think he'll be back. I don't know if I'm spelling his name right, but I think that's like Piotr. I think it's spelled like that. Piotr leads a secret attack and sabotage during the games. So, like, you know, I misspelled sabotage. I'm telling all y'all, it's... How do you spell sabotage? No, it's... There we go. Sabotage. I'm telling all y'all, it's a sabotage.
It's telling all y'all it's a sabotage. Songs I used to sing to myself at full blast when I was coming home from my 3 jobs at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To keep myself awake.
So yeah, I think that there's gonna be like Katniss and Piotr are gonna be like, hey, we need to take this thing down. So well, oh god, Piotr's gonna have to be in it too because he was a joint winner. Oh god, that can't be the thing. Piotr has to do it too.
What? Wait.
Because remember,
wait, what are you fucking calling him?
Isn't it Piotr? It's like Peter, but spelled weird. Look, I had a professor named Piotr in college. It's a Polish name.
It's Katniss and Piotr.
It's Pita. Okay, it's Pita.
It's Pita.
I knew it was. Okay, well, I knew it was a weird. Okay, so I'm like, it's not Peter. It's like a weird alteration of Peter. And I had a professor in college named Piotr. So
I don't blame you for making this mistake. I just think the mistake is funny.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
You know? It's fucking hilarious. It sounds like you're saying poodle.
No, PETA can't do that because PETA, it was a co-winner in the first one, so PETA has to fight in the games too. So I'm going to say other friends from her district lead a secret. So I think there's going to be like a, you know, an underground resistance cell that's going to use the Hunger Games as a cover to try and sabotage things. Because I don't think they're going to... I think this is something because they're going to make PETA and Katniss both enter. I think it would be kind of a cheap out to have them both survive again. So I'm going to guess PETA dies in the games. It's going to be my guess. And then... I mean, obviously, there's a third movie, so Katniss survives. Katniss wins again. But her plans to sabotage and take down the government fail. Okay. So, she survives, but there's like a bittersweet ending. Friends of hers die. Things go badly. She's alive, but she'll end up at a lower position than she started the movie with, basically. Because that feels like the way it would go in a second movie in a 3-part movie thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are my guesses.
These are some good guesses. They're definitely young adult film and book guesses for sure.
Yeah.
You have the 3-book story to T here.
Yep. I mean, Empire is my favorite Star Wars.
I guess the only thing we have left to do, really, is watch the movie.
We're gonna watch the movie. When we return, we'll have watched The Hunger Games 2: Catching Fire.
Catching Fire. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome in. I hope you all enjoyed the movie. I have something for everyone to say. And chant with me, Corvus Rigged. Corvus rigged.
What? How is it rigged?
Corvus rigged.
What?
Corvus rigged.
What is it rigged? How is your Corvus rigged? I got.
We all know. But we'll get into that later. Everyone, this is Snoozy, our guest today. Snoozy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Snoozy.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
That's a riveting description.
Riveting description.
Salutations, everybody. My name is Snoozy. I'm Sex Agency, Silly Sleepy, Still VTuber. There, I did the thing.
Okay, good. I had to go grab a water because somebody made us drink some water. So if you have to want to drink some water.
I go get
Okay.
stuff.
I
It's got
don't.
water in it.
Okay. So does.
And you can use code Snoozy to get 10% off your order.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do that. Also, somebody has summoned Rodney, so I guess Rodney's going to be joining us in this discussion today.
A little man! Look, it's the same face.
Yes.
There's two of them.
But I mean, you know, you're in a VTuber group with Bon.
Yes.
Some
they
Well,
are my
Bon's not in the group.
oh,
they're my
and
art
Bon is
director.
related to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Bon does
They are
such
amazing.
good art.
They do amazing art. They've done merch
Yeah.
art for me. They've done asset art for me. And they have put my thighs on a Gamer Subs label.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
We I don't know. We like Snoozy in this household. We love Snoozy.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Snoozy's one of our 1, 2, 3.
but this is my first time meeting Snoozy, and yeah. So I mean, I'm very very happy to have you here and to get to know you a little better and get to know. Well, Snoozy, why'd you pick this movie?
It's because I'm a nerd.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
we're all nerds on this show.
No,
So-
I'm an extra nerd. I've been reading these books since I was 12. That's 13 years.
That is
How
prime
did you find these
demographic
books?
for those novels.
Tumblr. Yeah, I was the right demographic, and
my
I was
God.
on Tumblr. And
God.
not only that, but I have been reading them since then. I have all the audiobooks on my phone. My entire TikTok For You page and TikTok likes is filled with Hunger Games edits and analysis.
That's cool.
You know, when we say hyperfixations, we're like talking about, you know, people who like obsess over things and like make it their main hobby. I think at this point you can like squarely call that like an omega hyperfixation because wow.
I do repeatedly listen to them.
Hey, Snoozy, let me
I-
tell you about bird
the last book
taxonomy.
came out, and I read it 3 times. The what?
I
said, let me tell you about bird taxonomy. That's my way of saying I understand what it is like to have a huge interest in something, and
I
I
don't think-
very much appreciate and you know, like that. You know what I mean?
Yay!
yeah. I don't think anyone in this chat here isn't without their hyperfixation of some kind.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And if you
Bentai's
don't have
hyperfixation
hyperfixation,
seems to be
find one.
me. So it's
It happens. It
the,
happens.
the
Okay,
ego
so
on that
you're
bird.
12 years old, you're scrolling through Tumblr, and you just, you see someone talking about a bunch of kids killing each other, and you went, you know what, that sounds like a neat thing to make my personality.
I honestly don't know how I came across it, and I don't know how I convinced my mom to buy me it. But she did. Probably because it was labeled at my age.
That's
Um,
fair. I mean, because Katniss in the books is like 16, 17, right? When the first one?
16 She's 16 in the first book, 17 in the second to third book.
God.
I was also homeschooled, Jarn. You know that.
How old was Jennifer Lawrence when she played this role then? 'Cause
22, I think.
Yeah, like 21,
Okay.
22 time frame. This is like, if I remember correctly, this is basically what catapulted, get it?
Caterpillar.
Launch.
Caterpillar.
It made her
That's the word you're
It made-
thinking.
it made her-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because it
Went on
was
to make a ton
'cause
of movies.
she
for,
did.
Like, the next decade.
She was Mystique after these movies, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few years later. Yeah,
Yeah.
she'd be going to play Mystique. She played in one of my favorite horror movies, Mother. She was in a
Was-
few sci-fi movies,
She
one
was in Don't
action.
Look Up.
Yep, that's true.
She was also in the movie with the fucking guy. I don't remember his
Chris
name.
Pratt?
Chris Pratt. I was gonna say
Yeah.
the Scientology guy who left his wife.
He's not a Scientology guy.
No, he's a
Is he
hardcore
not?
Christian.
He's just a
Is he
hardcore
not a
Christian, which is
Scientologist?
just as bad.
Yeah, he's a bad kind of Christian.
Yeah, he's not Scientology. I can assure you that much.
Yeah.
Oh, he isn't.
No.
Not bad. But yeah, he was in
That
that.
happens.
She was in that.
I mean, it's yep. She's had a very
She's doing a lot.
very
Her
busy
vlog-
career. Like literally the next 10 years, there was basically a movie every other month. It felt like that she was in. She was like the it girl, you know.
She was in Spotless Mind as well.
Was she?
Yes, she played right?
God, she would have been really young when that movie came out.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
wait.
what
The remake?
Oh, not
the
the
remake.
original Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. There was a
Yeah, what's
remake.
the
I didn't
other
know there was a
one?
remake.
What's the chat? Do you know what I'm talking about? I
Winter's
watched it.
Bone. No
She
idea.
was. I remember that they had.
Winter's Bone. That's a movie that I haven't heard in forever.
Anyway, I think she's a pretty good actor, and I think she did a good job in this movie. I would have to say the acting in this movie was pretty good. I really don't have any complaints. You know, people did their roles great. So, I mean, obviously that's a credit to both the actors, but also the director, you know.
I think this is like one of the again, I think it's just because it's a product that it's the first, but like the Hunger Games acting all throughout the movies, from what I can remember, the acting is pretty solid.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Twilight situation because, well, I mean, the characters actually have characters to them, as opposed to Twilight, as opposed to Labyrinth.
I mean, I'm glad that Twilight was our
Games,
previous movie because I have so many comparisons to make between the two and how much better this does. Let me look at the list. Oh, everything?
I mean, yeah.
They both have ties to Mormonism.
What?
So Stephanie Meyer's a Mormon, and there's a lot of Mormonism written.
Yeah,
throughout
well, I knew
the-
that.
I knew
one.
that.
Yeah.
I need
And
I need a
Hunger
follow up
Games-
here with the second
and the
one.
Hunger Games, while Suzanne Collins isn't a Mormon, a lot of the capital and the capital influences you can tell that are influenced by Mormon culture.
Huh.
Okay. I need some examples given because
Yeah, that's interesting.
The quote unquote weird capital accent is the LDS Church white girl accent.
Oh.
Yeah. There's also a lot of people theorize that the capital is based around what used to be Salt Lake City.
Until it was
Check
destroyed.
out.
Yes. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but during the start when it was the pre-recorded segment, did you see me doing this?
No. Oh, no, not
Yeah.
really.
That was me shaking my head. You said so many things wrong.
I mean,
Both
feel
of
free to
us or
correct
just
us, that's what
me?
this part's about.
Panem is a country in what previously was North America. It is not the whole world. There were formerly 13, now 12 districts that span across North America. They
Okay.
have no access to any outside world. It is assumed everyone else is dead, but a lot of people think that that is just propaganda.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Because there's really
What else
no-
did we get wrong?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean,
You could
a
just
few
say
things,
everything.
but
I mean,
okay.
that's
One
not-
thing
you
that
could
I
just
was
say
gonna say is that, like, you were bringing up like a lot of like popular bands, and I don't remember there being like many songs in
maybe-
this movie.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
they-
So the soundtrack, there's as Dre was saying, there is like a score, like there's dramatic music.
Yeah.
The like Lord and Imagine Dragons, Taylor Swift, they are more in just like the marketing soundtrack.
Okay.
Which
So,
makes
yeah.
sense. Which
That makes
sense.
sense because it's just
Yes.
like I don't remember hearing any of those
Pretty
bands at
sure
all. Like, was
for
there?
this one? It's Yellow Flicker Beat. So they're not actually in the music, but they're like the movie, but they're the marketing
Tied to the
around
movie.
it. And it's kind of like it's kind of like, oh, they made it for the movie, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Made it for the trailer, which makes it technically part of a soundtrack.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense because I mean, didn't hear those in it, but
Yeah,
I thought the score was pretty good. The music definitely set the mood for the scenes quite well.
The one thing that I do say I like a lot about this movie is how much it allows quiet to exist in the movie,
Yes.
right? Which is something that a lot of movies now don't do, right? We could go into the TikTokification of movies and movie media for ages to come.
I have a thing
On
to
probably
say
the
about
Very
that. Not only are they saying that you need to have no, I just want to say one thing, but like Netflix in particular, their movies, they're telling the directors to make sure that not only are you talking at all times, but you're having characters describe what's happening so that people who are not looking at the screen can still follow it. And no.
There's also over explaining in a lot of media.
Yeah.
I mean, this
actually is very funny because I look over my screen and I see Haymitch. While this isn't in Catching Fire, in Mockingjay, they had to dumb down one of Haymitch's lines
Aw.
for the movie.
Well,
Well, we have to save that. We have to save that for the one.
Save that for
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
No spoilers.
yeah.
No spoilers.
Do we okay? But
No.
No.
Back to my point,
This
back to
is
my
not
point.
spoiler about this. If we do Mockingjay, do we do both movies as one episode, or do we, just do what Hollywood did and split it into 2 episodes?
I think we should do what Hollywood didn't do and just watch it all at once.
I think so too.
I would recommend it.
Because that's like, it's like, you can't. Sorry, I'm trying to reel it in because I'm about to go on a rant about The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, Wicked, the last Harry Potter movie.
We don't need this. We don't need it. We don't on this show. We don't need to do that, right? We're not Hollywood. We can because they're one story, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, they're all one story. Splitting it up is stupid, and it infuriates me that Hollywood would rather release 2 1.5-hour movies, 2 2.5-hour movies than release 1 5-hour movie because they don't think the audience can take it. You do. My opinion is you make it 5 hours. Yeah, in the middle of it, you do an intermission.
What really annoys me, like a recent example, is Wicked. Wicked, the stage show, is 2.5 hours long, but they've split it now into 2 2-hour movies. So
Which doesn't make sense.
why?
It's
Just
longer,
the thing is,
longer than the...
if it was the full story of Wicked and they hadn't split it into 2 parts, I probably would have gone to see it. But making me pay for a movie twice? The only movie I can forgive them splitting into 2 movies, and I haven't even seen the second half of it yet because it doesn't exist yet, is the most recent Miles Morales Spider-Man. But I tell you, when that To Be Continued hit up there, I was like, no!
It's not right.
It's something to be admired when Hollywood takes something that's like a certain amount of time, especially like a stage play, that it is actually in a director's best interest to make a show as short as possible, right? Because that means they can fit a whole show, not a director, a screenwriter, stage.
Well, didn't some
playwright.
like classic playwright say something along the lines of, saying it short is the heart of intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the line.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah.
But taking 2.5-hour movies, splitting it up into 2 3-hour movies or whatever the fuck, unnecessary bullshit. Even with dancing numbers with CGI, and also same bullshit with Mockingjay. So when we get around to doing Mockingjay, we'll just do one movie and make predictions for 2 of them.
Because we're doing that movie.
The-
We're doing it. I'm just saying it right now. We have to. We have to.
I mean, I haven't seen Mockingjay. I watched the first 2 movies because it was convenient and I was in high school. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. I'm taking away your girl feeling. I didn't watch the Mockingjay movies because I was in college when they came out, and none of my friends were of the people that wanted to go and watch it, and I did not have a ride to the movie theaters, and I wasn't going to walk in the snow to get there.
I was 15 when Mockingjay came out in theaters.
You are young.
You were in college.
I was a working adult.
Yeah, we get it. You're old.
I'm old, Bert.
What up, old man? This man owns a house. Point and laugh at him.
I can't because he's living my dream.
I'm old enough to... I bought my house in 2013 when house prices were at the absolute floor. And yeah, it's kind of funny. I make more money now, but I could not afford this house now. Yeah.
Yeah.
My house has almost tripled in value since I bought it, which people are like, well, you have so much more equity now. Yeah, I also have so much more insurance and taxes to pay now.
Why would you sell the house that you... I saw... This has nothing to do with the Hunger Games.
It does not.
We're off topic.
No, it does, because my house is overvalued due to unfettered capitalism being run by people who are trying to do a fascist control over of this country. There.
Okay, well, that was
Hunger Games.
That was a vast oversimplification.
There's a lot of fascism.
Everything. There's a lot of fascism.
There's a lot of fascism in this movie. Holy shit.
I just fucking oh man. Okay, so in the movie, I haven't read the books. I probably should read the books at some point. I could probably rent them from my local library, so I don't have to pay for them. I do need another book series to read.
They are on Audible, and I do really love the voice actress, the person who reads it. She does amazing. She has a lot of emotion in her voice. She does Katniss very well.
I think personally, okay, this is a running meme in my community, but I think you would actually really like Red Rising for a lot of the same reasons you like the Hunger Games, and I would recommend you go and listen to them if you get the chance. But the thing that I've always found funny in books like this is when characters who very clearly know what's going on say something like, "Oh, this person won't actually hurt this person," even though we have so many examples up until this point of that person doing X thing, right? Like, oh, the president's not gonna hurt your sister, bitch.
Well, so you have more of a direct memory of the movies than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So could you give me an example of what you mean so I can go off of?
Okay, so there's a scene in when they're in the games, right? Where the Jabberjays show up and start yelling, and they're like, help me, Katniss, help me, whatever, And one of the characters was like, the president wouldn't hurt your sister. I'm like, bitch, yes, he would.
Yeah.
Yes and no. They were correct, and the reason why all of this happened to begin with is because of the propaganda that the Capitol citizens have had throughout the 74 years of the Hunger Games up until the 75th. Because what originally started as a punishment to the districts to remind you, like, hey, we fucking hate you, we want you dead, it got propagandized so much that the Capitol citizens, including Seneca Crane, the previous game maker of the 74th Hunger Games, he got propagandized so much that he saw it as an actual reality show, as an actual entertainment aspect, which is why the berry trick was able to happen in the first place, because he wasn't worried about controlling the narrative and controlling the districts. He was worried about making good entertainment, which is why they were allowed to get away with so much, because he was like, man, this shit goes hard. Which is why.
Oh man, they're cooking. They're cooking.
So yes, I do believe that Snow could not have killed Prim, because for the reasons they said, it was too public. Not only did Katniss volunteer for her sister, which was a very public thing, and everyone saw her, it turned her into like a Panem sweetheart thing. Based on where they were in the games, they were going to enter. Like, basically, propaganda was President Snow's downfall. He propagandized so hard that it turned on him. So I do believe that he could not have killed her at this point, because of basically he's lost control of the districts around this time.
Yeah, hard. Like it's seen
the
before the game
has left
even started.
is the capital. Yes, the only thing he has left is the capital. So if he starts doing things that he knows the capital will dislike, and the capital is already pretty against these games, not because they're sending in a bunch of their beloved celebrities, but because a 17-year-old girl is pregnant. They are upset
Oh
that
my
the
God.
pregnant fetus is going into the Hunger Games.
Oh my God,
Let me talk about
that line of PETA,
that was
that
such
line
a-
right there made, like, I was kind of iffy on PETA the whole time. I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about this guy. He's fine, I guess. When he pulled that shit, I'm like, all right, I'm on Team PETA now. That was fucking...
In the books, he is so... Movie PETA makes me so sad. Book PETA is amazing.
He feels like, and excuse me for bringing this up, he feels like he got the wrong treatment in the movies. Like, he's a
PETA,
character that like, is a way more intelligent, way more like aware and cognizant character in the books. But in the movies, they needed someone to be like the fall man for shit, and PETA ended up that person.
PETA is incredibly charismatic. He's incredibly smart. He is still an emotional child because he is, again, 16 when we meet him. And
I mean, yeah.
a lot of what, so Katniss is a very paranoid person. She's very paranoid. She's in survival mode. She's a incredibly traumatized child. She's an incredibly traumatized child. Her thing is not, she doesn't have friends. She does have friends, but she doesn't realize she has friends. She doesn't have friends. She doesn't have a life outside of what is taking care of her family and doing what she needs to survive. So when she goes into the Hunger Games and she sees PETA crying because he's gonna die, she's like, get a load of this guy trying to manipulate the audience. I can't believe this. Because in her mind, everything she has to do is a calculated move. So she just assumes everything else that everyone else is doing is a calculated move. She doesn't cry in front of the cameras because she doesn't want them to use her tears like as part of the show. So when PETA cries, she's like, wow, get a load of this guy. I can't believe he's manipulating the audience. He's doing so well. But PETA's actually just upset because he's going to fucking die. From what he assumes, he's going to fucking die.
Yeah. The odds aren't good.
PETA is the fall guy in the books, but it's extremely smart and calculated on his part. Yeah, but that doesn't translate to the movie. That's the problem. It's like that's the problem with Ron in Harry Potter books. Ron's an extremely intelligent character, right? In his own right. But in the movies, they're like, he's just a dumb...
And they gave Hermione a lot of his lines.
Yep, they gave Hermione way too many of his lines.
Thing. Yeah.
Not to want to talk about the transphobe book on this show, but it's a necessary comparison. It's a necessary. Me too. It was one of my hyperfixations growing up as a kid.
Well, it feels like when I was a young adult, you know, they call this young adult even though it's kind of teen fiction. When I was actually a young adult, there were basically 3 franchises that dominated it, and it was Hunger Games, it was Harry Potter, and it was Twilight. And let's just say that I hold Hunger Games a little higher in regard than the other 2.
The Hunger Games is essentially a modern classic.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You cannot deny Hunger Games' place in modern media because of how much of an effect it had on other books of the genre and how much it still has effects on books of the genre. Again, going back to You Should Read Red Rising, I think you'll find a lot of comparisons and inspirations from the Hunger Games in that book series. I'm not saying it's one-to-one, but you'll see a lot of the similarities and you'll be like, oh shit, okay.
I mean, I do have hundreds of hours
watching these movies to go, oh shit, no, that's why I like these things, right?
Is Hunger Games because I have hundreds of hours put into Fall Guys.
Like the little guys?
Yeah, Fall Guys, little guys. So it's a battle royale game. It's a battle royale game, right?
I mean, in part, yeah. I mean, the genre.
You start with 60, end with 1.
Yeah.
Fall Guys is about fascism, y'all.
I mean, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Being violent simulator, yeah.
Yeah, Fall Guy, the movie with Ryan Reynolds. Nothing. Okay, one of the things I wanted to touch on in this movie, but we definitely need to talk about the themes and the fascism a bit more. But one thing I really have to say about this movie is the costume design, A+.
All through.
Like, the look of the people from the Capitol contrasted with the look of the people from the other districts and just how they used fashion and design and stuff. The outfits that Katniss is wearing when she's having to do all the pre-Hunger Games stuff. I mean, it's chef's kiss. It's so it looks good on the characters. It seems to make sense within the world, and it's just so goddamn interesting and iconic. It's they costume designer. I hope they won an Oscar for costume design. Did they?
I think they did.
I don't think so.
This movie, did they not?
I don't think they won an Oscar. I think they got nominated for it. I don't know if they won it for costume.
You might be right. Lot for actors and actresses. You might be right.
It didn't win.
It looks like it was nominated for a lot of awards, but did not win.
Costume Designers Guild Award for Excellence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
There you go.
But it's not an Oscar.
No.
Well,
But
honestly, if I was a costume designer, I'd probably.
The fashion was very plot relevant. Sorry.
But I say I would probably rather win from that guild than from the Oscars. They're the people that actually know what they're talking about.
What do you mean by plot relevant? I understand that there's like culture that goes into the design, and it looked like they did a good job designing costumes for the districts that these people supposedly came from. But like, explain more, please.
PETA is a very outspoken. As this goes back into PETA being mischaracterized in the movies. But PETA is a very smart and very, very calculating person, but he's also still, and this is the most important part, he is still a teenager. So he does a few things in this movie that are not very smart, that are good things. For instance, the trying to give his winnings to the families of the fallen District 11 tributes. Very, very beautiful. But also, if you put any thinking like 2 cents, it's like, oh, that's a terrible idea to do. But he did it because he's a good person and he's a 16, 17-year-old with not a fully developed brain. But despite him being incredibly outspoken, throughout the movie, his collar gets tighter and tighter as he is less able to speak his mind. And that continues into the last 2 movies of the series.
Interesting.
I
It's a very
see.
cool
I see.
feature that I like a lot.
I also wanted to say that like I loved the creativity of how they did the games in this one with the whole clock element thing. I thought that was, and each section of the clock having a different disaster every hour. Like I thought that was pretty neat.
A lot of people theorize that each ring was chosen for a tribute. So a lot of people think that the wave that crashes is for Annie Cressida before Mags joined. Because Mags, you have to remember, Annie was drawn, but Mags volunteered, which they probably didn't expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they expected PETA to go into the Hunger Games. I think they knew that if Haymitch got pulled, that PETA would go in. So I do think they suspected PETA would go in. It might have been a rig to put PETA in. Who the fuck knows, honestly.
In the books, don't spoil too much, but in the books, are either perspective shifts from like Katniss? I don't know how they follow in the books and stuff like that.
It is Katniss's POV. It is, you are directly in her brain. You can see every thought that she thinks.
Okay, so like the scenes between
perspective shifts.
No.
So like the scenes between. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say
this. Yeah, the scenes. Yeah, you go.
With Philip Seymour Hoffman and Donald Sutherland, those are not in the books.
Those are not in the books. They do this in the first movies as well, which I do like that in the movies they show us other perspectives. So were all picks rigged, not just District 12's? I have a lot to say about this. I think yes. So in the books, and this is what makes Catching Fire very, very interesting from Katniss's point of view, there is a whole rebel plot going on, and you know something is going on. Katniss is very suspicious. She's like aware that something is going on, but she doesn't know what's going on because she's like also dealing with her own stuff. So the entire in the books and the entire time leading up to the rebel plot, you're just like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Something is happening, and we are so unaware. And it's really interesting, especially to reread with the knowledge, because you can see all the little bits that she just was like, that shit's not important to me. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But yes, it is theorized that the reapings, even a lot of people theorize even Prem's reapings were rigged. I don't think Prem's reapings were rigged for a lot of people. A lot of people think that the reason reason Prim's reaping was rigged was to punish Katniss specifically. That's not true. If you think that, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, she was pretty much a nobody before then. She was a
nobody, and if they cared that much that she was poaching, she would have just been taken out directly. I don't think anyone gave a shit that she was poaching. I think what they wanted in the original Hunger Games is they wanted to get, for instance, for the same reason Rue was reaped, is she was a small 12-year-old girl, and so they got, multiple small 12-year-old girls. I think in District 4, which is a career district still, District 4, there's a 14-year-old who dies in very early on, I think in the bloodbath. So there's multiple small children in this Hunger Games, and then there's also multiple bigger males. For instance, in District 11, we have Thresh, who is, from the start that he's reaped, is a very clear contender to win. He's like 6'5". He's just a big, scary dude. And then he gets reaped alongside Rue, who is a small 12-year-old girl. In District 12, we have Peeta, who's not like overtly scary, but Katniss even remarks that, he's, burlier than most people in the district. He's
athletic.
More
yeah.
He wrestles. That is canonical. He is on the wrestling team. And that he has wrestled. So he is a bit more burly. And then he is reaped alongside another 12-year-old girl who is Prim. So I do think that the reapings were rigged, not to punish anyone necessarily, but for the sense of entertainment and fun. Because throughout other books, we do learn that a lot of the reapings seem to have more of a capital influence than we realize.
Mm-hmm. I think personally that the cuts to the conversations between the game master and the president actually gave too much away, because the first conversation that the president is having with the game master, Seneca, no, not Seneca, what's his name?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Plutarch, yeah, is that also the name Plutarch. Dead giveaway. What's going on here?
Yes. Like I said, there's a lot of Suzanne takes a lot of names. But the moment
the president's like, we need to just shut this down right as fast as possible, and the guy's like, no, let me make plays within plays, which is a hallmark content back to Dune. Any good writer worth their salt will make a reference to Dune for this, because I think Dune is one of the first books I can recall, and only books I can really remember off the top of my head, where plays within plays is stated so much in trying to move forward a plot or a specific group's interests, that when he was like, I have plans, we got to make counter plays and counterplays, right, is what he says, or something like that, is like, oh, this guy is trying to do something to help, because no one in a fascist organization would be like, no, president, let me try this, unless they really had some balls or something to prove.
Well, and that guy ended up, at the end, we find out he was working with the rebellion all along.
Yeah.
I wish you guys had more knowledge.
We gotta
go listen to the books.
No. What I just mean is, it's one of those things where it's like, I have so much information that you don't have, but also the information I have is information that you have not
from later books
reached.
And movies.
Yes, yeah. And also because you have to remember, since the original trilogy came out, she has come out with 2 prequels. One, that is the.
Well, they made a movie, right?
They've made a movie off of the first prequel, and they're making a movie off the second prequel. You're not in his mind. It's actually, and this is very interesting, and this is on purpose. I feel like, because Suzanne is a very, very good writer. She's written plays. She's written a bunch of children's media. Actually, she's a very good writer. It is
quote unquote children's media.
No, she's written actual children's books, like not Hunger Games,
okay.
Actual. She's written actual Hunger Games. She's written plays. She's done a lot. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is President Snow's prequel. You meet him as an 18-year-old, and it is the only book that is not from the first person. It is from a third-person perspective, and I feel like that is important for a reason that I may not be smart enough to exactly verbalize, but I do feel like that is important. But so
it
because
depersonalizes the character.
Mm-hmm.
It depersonalizes him, but you also still have some of his thoughts, just not all of them.
Yeah.
And
No.
I think the movies did a terrible. I still think the movie is great, but I think the movie did a terrible job of really showing what it was like reading. There were some parts of reading Ballad where I was just like, because here's the thing, when you are consuming media, especially when you are reading a book, you are going to put yourself into the mind of whoever you are reading about. Even if you have nothing in common with them, you're still going to try your best to empathize and be like, okay, well, what would I do? And you find yourself being like, yeah, I can't believe this guy's doing this to Snow, because you are him. You are trying to be him. And so that happens and you're like, wow, I can't, fuck this guy. And then you're like, oh, no, fuck me. I'm the bad guy. You're like, oh, fuck.
Wait. You're like, fuck this. Wait.
And I think it's brilliant because you'll be like, yeah, fuck so-and-so. And then something happens and you're just like, oh my God. And you are just reminded how much of a terrible dude this guy is.
I really think there are now sequels to that too, but there are now sequels to Red Rising, and you get a lot of what you were just talking about in the sequels for other characters that didn't necessarily exist in the first few books, but exist within the tropes that are necessary to understand the character types in the other ones.
Yes. And
you get a lot of that. Like, there was one or two times where it was like, wow, fuck this shit, and then I'm like, wait, no, that's the person I'm trying to.
Yeah,
it's very confusing.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Stop making me think like this.
But so this isn't an outward spoiler because it has been public news, but in the newest prequel, which is Haymitch's Games, and we knew they were going to be about Haymitch's Games. They follow Haymitch.
Yeah.
And as you just found out, you know a bit about Haymitch's Games. You found out about this in this movie. Actually, I don't.
Well, you find out a little bit about it, but obviously he wins.
Yes, you find out he wins. But Plutarch is in this book as a younger. I think he's like a assistant game maker or something. He's not. But this isn't spoilers because they just announced that he was cast, like his casting, which by the way is fucking amazing. Who is his 1 second. I need a.
For Plutarch?
Yes, the younger Plutarch is so good. He is they casted. What is your name?
It's probably somebody I've never heard
Jesse Plemons. Yes.
I love Jesse Plemons.
Fucking Plemons, and it's so good, and he looks like the Hunger Games.
Okay, but wait a minute. Jesse Plemons is like 30.
Yes.
How is he going to play? Okay, Bentar, if you're not know, Jesse Plemons played Todd on Breaking Bad. He's Ed. He's Ed in season 2 of Fargo. Those are probably the two things I know him best from. But I've seen him in a couple movies and stuff. But yeah. But he just seems way too old to be. Oh wait, no, because he's not playing a kid playing in the games. He's playing a young game master. So actually, yeah, that does work.
Yeah, he's in the. It's not said how old he is in the prequel, but it's like mid-20s, early 30s. So it works.
Yeah, Plemons can still play that.
Like DH him. Yeah, they're gonna probably DH him a little bit, but I think like he looks.
Hey, some good makeup, baby.
Yeah, he looks very. It's just very good casting looks wise.
Yeah, I like that. I can absolutely see Jesse Plemons playing a younger Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. We were watching the movie.
Son.
Philip Seymour Hoffman died 3 months after this movie came out.
Yeah. Well, was it that one or was it? Was it Catching Fire or was it Mockingjay?
It was this one.
Mockingjay, because he was
because they had to. Yeah, he's in Mockingjay, and I know that he died during the filming. I'm pretty sure. So they had to some of the scenes they had to like re-edit to fit because they couldn't film it again because he was dead.
Yeah, the last movie that he has credits for are the Mockingjay ones because this movie came out and he was still filming the fourth movies at the time. Yeah, I mean he was an amazing actor.
And a lot of people wanted his son to play his younger self, and a lot of people wanted Donald Sutherland's son to play
Keeper.
His younger, yes. That has not been announced yet, so we'll see if that happens. I the Hunger Games fandom is being very pushy about these two castings, and I do get it. It would be a very cool thing because obviously they're fucking related, so they're gonna look the same. But also, imagine your dad dies, and then people are like, "Hey, can you be a younger version of your dad? Can you play?
Hey, can you be your dad?
Can you?
Yeah,
be
that
your
does
dad?"
feel a little bit disrespectful.
If they want to do the role, fantastic. I would love them to do the role. But if they don't want to, then they don't want to, and I think we should just leave it at that because.
Yeah.
You know, they did. It was a very recent passing for both of them. Still, even yeah. But well, at least in the case of Donald Sutherland. But back to Plutarch Heavensbee being the guy, like the guy in the chair the whole time. It is revealed a bit more in the newest prequel, and that's all I'll say because it is very interesting. But I think. Plutarch Heavensbee, I cannot form a fucking opinion on you to save my life. He is such an interesting character. He's an interesting character in Catching Fire. He's an interesting character in Mockingjay. He's an interesting character in the prequel. You cannot tell his intentions in a way. Even when you find out, oh, he's been working, for the good guys all along. You can go back and kind of be like, well, is he, or is he just like having fun? Like, because you also have to realize, even though he is a rebel, he is also a capital citizen, and he was raised a capital citizen. He was born a capital citizen, and even if he is a rebel, he has been orchestrating a lot of suffering. It's the same. Yeah.
Sorry. Go finish your statement. Finish.
It's one of those things where it's like I like him and I hate him. He's a very privileged guy, and yes, he was very helpful to the rebellion and stuff, but also I think there's a lot of him past the surface that a lot of people don't think of. Kind of
People are complicated.
People are complicated, and Suzanne is
you don't
really good about
necessarily
writing
have
complicated characters.
And you don't necessarily have the time to explore everyone's characters as you do in the books, right?
Oh, I just want to say, because we kind of just had a bit before it, but there is one particular shot in this movie that I think is one of the best segments and shots I've seen in film in a long time.
The widescreen?
What?
Is it the widescreen?
No, it's not the widescreen. No, it's the part of the movie where she's talking to Lenny Kravitz before the games and like thanking him for the outfit and stuff. And then as she goes into the tube, he gets apprehended and beating on, and she's like freaking out, but it's like keeping close on her as the tube is rising up, and then boom, suddenly she's up in the game. Okay, is it the widescreen? Okay, fine.
So during that scene, I don't actually know how you watched it, so I'm not sure if it did that.
It did definitely do that, because you can see in some of the screenshots we have here, yeah.
So it's very cool because, yeah, in that scene, it starts with the black bars, and then it zooms to the full screen and be like, and that, I feel like you are being put into the, I feel like you are being put into the arena. They did such a good immersion with that.
I mean, that shot, just the way that they were kept the focus on her and the background changing, it was brilliant. I mean, that was some brilliant filmmaking right there.
And it just shows another part of Snow's cruelty. He was like, I'm gonna nerve this bitch so much right before I kill her.
Man, there's so much we can talk about. Unfortunately,
well, okay, I got to say, but Bentai, I got to bring it up because I said I was going to.
Okay. Go ahead.
And Snoozy, this might upset you, but one of the members of our chat said we were watching the movie. Oh, this is just torture porn for teenagers.
Oh man, I didn't even catch that comment while we were watching.
Yeah.
You can tell how done Snoozy is right now. Snoozy's about to tear someone a new
I would like to add that I do not agree with Bentai in the slightest.
Me neither.
Why do you think it's torture porn? Do you not have media literacy skills, honey? I was homeschooled. My parents didn't give me anything, and I still figured that out.
Yeah, I mean, the characters definitely go through a lot and deal with some exact big hardships.
If you think the original trilogy was torture porn, I need you to take 3 edibles and read the latest book. The greening out is important.
Sorry, I knew that was going to cause a trigger, and I had to have that be part of the episode. I'm sorry.
There's so much.
I can give you Bentai's exact location if you wanted to send a heat-seeking
Thank
seal.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much, dude.
There's so much.
There's everything is very intentional into making everything, like, for instance, and this shows how good of I can't stop singing Suzanne's praises. All of her books are written in 3-act structures, like plays. If you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Even the movies kind of are built like that.
I mean, most movies are, if they're, you know.
But the books especially are written like that. There's always the 3 acts.
3 distinct acts in the book.
Yes. And like even every name has the correct meaning. Like before the stream actually started, we were saying how Pita actually means rock, and it means to be stable, sturdy, you know, solid, and it does not just mean bread. And it shows how.
Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this conversation because you're revealing a lot of things that I didn't catch, and it's giving me a much more appreciation of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Like I said, like you were interested in the clock part. Like I said, I do believe it annoys. Speaking of the clock, it annoys me that we have no idea what every sector is. We do not figure out what every sector is. We have no idea. It's been a decade. We don't know.
Yeah, we had the mandrills. We had the mandrills, the fog, the tsunami, the lightning.
The something that Katniss refers to as a clicking, like pincers. There was the blood rain. I think
the blood rain.
There's the birds.
Yeah, I think every sector was picked out for a specific tribute. For instance, Annie, as we find out in Catching Fire, her game. Actually, did you find out this about in the fucking movie? No, the movie. In the books, we find out that the reason Annie is like that is because in her games, there was a flood, and there was a dam broke, a flood broke out. It killed basically the rest of the tributes. The only reason Annie survived is because she was the best swimmer. And so what is like a giant flood? the big tsunami wave. And I think every specific thing had to do with it, and I think they didn't expect Mags to be volunteered.
I like that theory.
I also
Speaking
think
of
yeah, you go. No, you have time. It's okay.
We had to wrap up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We do have some theories to go over. But first and foremost, Twig, you want to pull up your predictions, bud?
I'm doing it. All right.
We got Corvus rigged up in the house tonight, guys.
Okay, no. This is going to be a this is going to be a traffic light, I think. Well, no, not really traffic light. This is going to be green on top and red on the bottom. Because there's going to be another Hunger Game competition, and she's going to have to enter. I mean, I feel like that was an easy guess. Now, if you, in the pre-one, I was like, but why would Katniss be it in again? And so there was only a couple ways where she could possibly have been in again, and them doing a competition of past winners is one of the only logical conclusions. So that's what I went with as the guess, and we'll call that a lucky guess. But because they're doing that means PETA has to fight too. So number 3 is right because number 2 was right.
No,
although not necessarily, because I didn't know about Hamish.
Yellow on this one. I'm giving you a yellow on this one because he doesn't have to fight. He chooses to fight. He was not targeted.
Yes and no. I don't foresee. I do think that Snow knew that PETA was not going to let Katniss go into the arena alone. So I part of me does kind of feel like they rigged the second one as well. In a way of making it Hamish so that PETA would volunteer.
Well, the rule is the guest gets to have the final decision on what color it is.
I think this is green. You
All right.
You did it.
Okay.
You did it. Like also, if you understand Peeta's character, there is no scenario where he would not have gone into that arena without Katniss. Which, might I just say, is mighty stupid if you think about it. Because if the goal is for the two of them to survive, if you ignore all of it, if the goal is for two of them to survive, Katniss goes in the arena, Haymitch goes in the arena, Peeta is their mentor, and then Katniss and Peeta live. Like, duh, fucking happily ever after. But they didn't think about that because they're fucking idiots. But anyway.
Yeah.
That just really bothered me. They were like, oh no, we're gonna die together.
No,
It's like,
I was trying to figure out.
to.
I was trying to figure that out when I watched the first time. Like, how the fuck are they both gonna survive this? They're not gonna be able to pull off the same shit twice.
You know, yeah, they're so Katniss's and Peeta's plan was not, oh, we're both gonna survive this. It annoys me because that could have been a plan, not realistically, because Snow was going to guarantee that Katniss died in that arena. Snow was not gonna have Katniss be victor twice. He was going to kill her one way or another. He just didn't succeed fast enough.
And actually, we never even talked about how it's like, oh yeah, there was no winner. The games were ended prematurely, and they set it up so brilliantly with her shooting.
How did the game?
They established she could hit the ceiling with an arrow early on. Mm-hmm. They established that the lightning and energy draw hurts the force fields early on. So like the way that they got out of it. That was as far from Deus Ex Machina as possible. That was set up and foreshadowed and chef's kiss.
I don't know if the original Rebel plan. I'm not talking about Suzanne's plan. I'm talking about in universe. I do think the original plan was to have Beatty sacrifice, because also there's a lot you do not know about Beatty. Also, another thing of rigging this, another thing of the Quarter Quell being rigged. Every single tribute that is in the Quarter Quell is meant to be in the Quarter Quell. Snow put all of those fuckers, like he had a kill list and all of those bitches were on it. There is a reason that every single person is in that arena.
Yeah, I really liked that guy. I thought he was a cool character, and Beatty. And it seems like, well, he's alive, so it seems like he'll be instrumental in the next couple movies. So. Yes. Looking forward to see it. I love it. I love it that I was really surprised. Okay, I'm really happy that my last one is red because that's not as good of an ending. They did something way better than I could have predicted. But anyway, other friends from her district lead a secret attack and sabotage during the games.
And Peeta dies in the games. Oh no, that's sorry. Yeah.
Well, we got to see. I think I'm red on this one, but. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, kind of
iffy because at the end of the movie you find out that they kind of firebombed District 12.
Okay, good. I was like, I need them to, because again, book canon versus, I am more versed in book canon than I am in movie canon. Yeah. I've seen the movies a bunch of times, but they all get muddled. I also have I also think that the movies and the books are like there's a difference in canon. But I could say you got the district wrong, but you did, like, yes, there was a rebel plot. I could say that could be green or yellow. You got a half right.
We'll go with the yellow then. I don't think I get a full green on it, but yeah.
No.
Peeta very much does not die.
He does not die. Do you know what happens to him though?
I don't know what happens to him in the third book.
But what happened to him in Catching Fire? Well,
at the end of Catching Fire, they said that he was captured by, so he's basically in custody and going to very much be used as leverage against Katniss and the rest of the rebels, for sure. That's...
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like a school teacher.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a school teacher. I'm like, yeah, and what did we learn from the ending? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just like when they were getting out of there, I'm like, oh, this movie's almost over. Oh, this is just gonna and the exact fate of a lot of the characters is definitely very much in question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know.
But I have to say that, this is a red as well. She doesn't win the Hunger. I mean, she wins
I feel like you could get that could be a yellow. I feel like that really could be a yellow because you could say that because here's the thing, no one wins in the Hunger Games. There is no winner. You could say that the winning is surviving the Hunger Games. She survived those Hunger Games. That is the winning.
That's
and
even something that was
plan-
direct text in the movie that Hamish says.
Exactly.
Oh
No
my
one
god.
wins.
You're right.
Yeah.
By the actual text of the movie, oh my god, I gotta go. Oh my man.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
guess.
yell. There you go.
Okay.
Easy.
So that's 4. That's
You did
4 points
really
out of 6. That's it's pretty good. Pretty good.
That's really good.
But the thing is, it's just like even with that, I was still happily surprised by the ending and how it played out. And yeah,
It's very good. I feel like the ending is very like sudden, but I feel like it is on purpose because of the actions that happened were very sudden.
Yeah.
She really didn't have time. She's not involved in this plan at all. Her goal is to kill herself and make sure Peeta lives. That is her goal. Like throughout, she's like, I'm dying for this man. It's fine. One thing that is also tragic, and that I don't know if you were able to tell as much in the movies, she is actually really fallen for Peeta, but she has not given herself the ability to like do that because she's not able to. And so there's like a few scenes, like especially on the beach, where you can see her kind of give into that like emotion, and then she's like, I'm gonna die in 2 days, so I gotta knock this off. And it's very sad because then he's gone and we don't know where he is.
Oof.
Star-crossed lovers.
It is tragic in a way, and I am curious how it's going to play out in Mockingjay with whatever love triangle develops there for sure. Twig, with these predictions, a passing prediction grade, again, Corvus rigged. How did you like the movie, and where would you place it on the tier list?
From an outsider's view, you might think of this as just young adult, generic stuff. But I mean, when you actually see it, though, and you go into it, it really is elevated so much more than other young adult stuff that has been out there. Like I said, between the costume design, the acting, some really great shots, really cool things, kind of suspense of how are they going to get out of this, what's going to happen. I was riveted and entertained the whole time. I think this is a great movie. Yeah. I as soon as this movie was over, I'm like, I really want to see movies 3 and 4 now.
We're starting off strong. Damn.
Yeah. I really have nothing but positive things to say about this movie, and I think I would put it higher than the I enjoyed it list. I think I could see myself in the future possibly doing a weekend binge of all the movies or something. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy you picked it. So
I would have forced you to watch all of them at once if I was able to do that, but I wasn't.
yeah, I mean, so much as you said is that this movie is so much smarter than other movies or books. Yeah.
Do you know why she wrote The Hunger Games?
She hadn't had lunch.
You are going to be so sad you made that joke in a second. She wrote The Hunger Games because in the early 2000s, I think the first book came out in 2008, 2007. In the early 2000s, she was she was watching TV and she was flipping through channels, and the channels that she kept flipping by were news channels of the Iraq War and reality shows and celebrities and things like that. And the fact that they were essentially next to each other and it was just one after the other, she was like, wow, this is wow. In fact, the fact that she's written 2 more books in the last 5 years is not great about our current world situation.
The situation ain't.
Some could say it would be topical.
Some say the situation right now ain't too good.
There's a reason she stopped writing and then she picked that pen up again.
Yeah.
Did you know the latest book is all about propaganda and how even in Panem they outlawed AI because it was bad that they thought it was immoral and evil?
Wow, wild.
These are
Who
the
could've
people
guessed
that murder kids for entertainment.
They're like, yeah, that's guy's AI bad, okay? But anyway, watch these 12-year-old get murdered by this 14-year-old. This is fair game.
I actually have a very interesting theory about why I also think AI would be outlawed in Panem. And it's for the same reason that if you notice, there's no religion in Panem at all. And it's because if your citizens know that there's propaganda and know that things can be faked, they're not going to listen to anything you say. And they want complete control over their citizens, and they need their citizens to believe everything they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Yep.
can't have fake stuff like that.
Fake news. All right. Well, I think we've talked a lot, but I think there's a heck of a lot more to talk to. Snoozy, you have been an absolute delight, and I really hope you want to come back on again because we want to have you on again.
Especially if you're gonna watch more of the.
Oh yeah.
movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
you
sorry.
can-
You don't get to choose the movie next time you're on. I'm sorry. It's gonna be Mockingjay.
We can keep going all the way up till November next year. That's when the next one comes out.
Come on.
We got time.
Oh, I
We
mean,
could do a fresh
You could
one.
read the books by that time.
Well, I just put a hold on all the books because I guess there's a 8-month long backlist.
yeah,
So-
we've yet to do a Twigs Missing Movies for a movie that's out still in the theaters. But yeah, maybe we could with
I
this
might have
one.
to resubscribe to my Audible.
Did
Yeah,
you know if you
there
don't
w-
subscribe from Audible, you keep all your books?
Oh yeah, I know. It's just my library has an 8-month hold on the Hunger Games books, and I don't know if I have 8 months of backlog books.
Wow.
To read.
Yeah,
They,
that's right.
ow. Do it, don't penis
All
at
right.
me.
Thank
But
you
yeah,
for joining us today, Snoozy.
thank you so
It
much.
was a pleasure having you. Pleasure
And
watching the movie.
we're
and talking
going-
about it with you.
We're going to raid into somebody whose name rhymes with our guest. We're going from a Snoozy to a Susie, who will be my guest next week on Twigs Missing Movies. So,
We're watching The Sting. If I
yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah. So, Snoozy into Susie.
Yay!
Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I gotta do the like and subscribe bag. It's required.
Like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow. It helps this. If you like this show, like and subscribe because it's how we keep doing. It's how we pay the lights.
Yeah, it's how we pay.
DB.
Did you guys know most content creators are in debt because they spend more money than they have on content for you guys because they love you?
Yeah.
Hey, Snoozy, I showed you that in private. You don't need to tell everyone like that.
Look, I'm not doing
You
this
know,
show to make.
myself.
I'm not doing the show to make money. I'm doing the show because it's fun to
not
do.
making
and-
money if you're spending the money on them because you're not making money. You're laundering money.
I could use Twigs CTTV as a money laundering front.
Exactly.
Okay, we're not saying anything more. IRS, that was a joke for all intents and purposes. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
All right, we're gonna head over to
Get the price
Susie's.
before
Thank
they
you,
go up.
everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Have a great time. I'm gonna go pee because I didn't pee before when I needed to. because I
Um,
was shaving.
Everybody can still hear you, Snoozy.
Yeah. Goodbye. I'm gonna go pee. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
pee.
yeah. We're still we're able to be heard until the theme music is over.
It's fine. Susie doesn't really have a sense of shame. Like me.